What's up, everybody? It is now Wednesday. Which I thought it was on Monday, but now it's Wednesday. We're here with our Wednesday's edition of Money Shots, talking college hoops. Also, I heard some commotion in the office. Carson Wentz is Carson Wentz just like the Duff of the NFL, like the designated ugly fat friend. He just gets like passed around like nobody's business. I just don't understand it.
I don't know. I just saw the tweet myself because I was texting you and Mintz that I thought Jimmy G was going to be a saint, is what I was hearing. And then everybody starts going off about Carson Wentz. I don't know. I mean, redheaded stepchild is like a mean thing to say, but he does have red hair. So maybe there's something here to your theory. But yeah, he's just going to get passed along. This Washington Commanders now. It's going to get weird. It's going to be hard for me to say that.
Weird.
It's going to get weird. Football team just really resonated with me, and it made a lot of sense because they were just such a bunch of, I don't know.
Like, they're just Jags, just another guy of the NFL. They're just like a team that's just there.
Yeah.
Sorry, PFT. Eventually, your team will get back to the standings. I'm really sad about Ryan Fitzy, man. I feel like he could have really brought that team. I mean, look, shout out Tyler Heineke too. I mean, he did his job well, when he had to step in, when I didn't think he would at all. But man, I'm kind of sad. I feel like the football team and Fitzpatrick just like looked like a match made in heaven. Do you remember seeing that picture of him with like the big moth in his beard after the game? It just looked right. But anyway, it's not NFL. We're not going to have that for.
I'd much rather sit here and talk about NFL trades, the combine, the draft coming up, free agency, which is months away still. I'd rather talk about that than college basketball, Megan, because college basketball has just been so brutalizing to me since I got home from Key West. And frankly, I just need to get through these conference tournaments. I tweeted last night that I felt like March was going to be really chalky. And
check out my card today. Nothing but chalk, which I'm not going to lie, I'm a little scared of. But hey, these last two, and I feel like I'm starting to right the ship from yesterday. But still, these last 2.5 weeks it's been a tough run. I mean, people are giving me a hard time though, and they forget that I was like giving them a lot of fucking winners beginning of the season, before anyone was even worried about college basketball. So just remember, be nice to the people that are giving you free picks and free advice so that you don't have to get on here and look up what efficiency ranking and offense fucking Nevada is. You don't want to do that. You want to just listen to us. So with that being said, I know you and I chatted. We're going to talk some Big 10, Big 12, SEC, Big East. But real quick, first conference up, and since I have a play, I wanted to give it out real quick. That's the ACC. You got a couple of games on today. You got Wake Forest as a big favorite. You have Virginia Tech laying 5. And then you have Virginia, who I got at 5, which is now at 6. I think this Virginia team is just going to control the pace of this game with their just incredible defense. I think that their offense will do enough to get the job done to cover the 5 of the Louisville team. They beat Louisville, I believe, in the first meeting by 10. Louisville did have a really good game against Georgia Tech, but they literally shot lights out. And
why? Because I had Georgia Tech. That's how that happens. Like, you want your team to shoot lights out, just tell me, and I'll bet against them because that never fails.
Well, I don't think that they're going to be able to replicate that here. So before we move on to talking about some of the other conferences, I wanted to give out my Virginia -5, but now it's at 6 at the Barstool Sportsbook. I got these lines that I'm not going to lie, quite a few of them have moved. So I'm a little bit worried that I'm going to have like 4 CLV trophies hanging on my wall. But hopefully Virginia can get the job done. What do you think of this game, Kel?
The good news for you, Megan, is that you got the best of the number, right? Looks like 6 is pretty much across the board, including the Barstool Sportsbook. So you did your job. You got the best of the number. You made a good bet on a team that, frankly, I agree with you. This is a Louisville team that I bet against yesterday because I didn't think Louisville was that great. They don't have a great offense. Their defense is nothing to write home about either. Outside of not very much, they did shoot lights out yesterday. And their defense does really slow the tempo down. But we didn't see that yesterday. We saw both of these teams running and gunning. So it was a really basically the opposite of way I thought that game would go. Now, You've got Virginia, who just absolutely controls the pace of play. We know that they're one of the slowest teams in college basketball. Pretty solid on both sides of the ball, even though Tony Bennett doesn't have the team he wants to have in traditional years. They're still a pretty solid team here. I'm with you. I do lean towards Virginia, but I do think because I'm a little late to the party, I have my concerns. But if you're a money line parlay type of guy, I can totally see people, just the whole world, wanting to use Virginia money line here. But I'll be on the other team from a neighboring state called West Virginia, if you just saw my tweet to Big Ev.
No, I did not see that, so I'm excited to see who else you're on today. And just real quick while everyone's here, we don't need to break down, but, boom to your head, Boston College or Wake Forest. You can take Wake Forest laying the 10, or would you advise Boston College plus the 10? I was thinking playing Boston College in the first half, but since they saw the floor yesterday, thinking that they could maybe come out hot. But you know how much I like this Wake Forest team, and also how good this Wake Forest team is. So I chickened out on that. As I said, I'm not playing it, but I did consider Boston College first half plus the 5.5.
I'm trying to look at this Boston College team and figure out where I went wrong yesterday, because if you guys remember, I gave out the other side. It was not pretty, and it was because I did think that we would see a better performance from Pittsburgh, but they clearly cashed it in. It's over. Their season's done. This is not a great Boston College team. Both teams, respectively, were pretty similar on paper. And so I started looking towards a dog here, going, all right, why should Boston College be a favorite over anybody? Well, when we look at the blowout score, it kind of appears that way. But I do think that blowout score is built into today's line, Megan. And you're probably right. If you like the dog, I can see them coming out fighting in the first half. But in theory, this is a Wake Forest team that we've seen throughout the second half be able to really push that pace and be able to kind of get the best of some of these not so great defenses. So I do think that we will see Wake Forest pull ahead. If you're asking me to make a play, I will take Wake Forest here, even though we all know I hate to lay double-digit chalk. This has been a team that's covered 10 of their last 13. And come on, Megan, you're the Demon Deacons lady. I figured for sure you're going to be on them.
Well, I'm just worried as far as the double digits. So as I said, I like maybe Boston College in the first half, but Wake, I feel like will pull away second half, and that's just something that I don't know if they can pull away by 10. I really do think so. But Big Tone here. Hey, Big Tone, nice to see you in the chat, bro. And then real quick, Clemson, Va-Tech. I don't have a play on that one. I would lean Clemson plus the 5. I saw a Virginia Tech fan sleeping yesterday at the tournament, so I have a feeling that's indicative of what might happen today. They might come out a little sleepy if we're following the signs like Jerry. So yeah, my lean would be Clemson plus the 5, but my official play in ACC play today is Virginia minus the 5. And as far as just the entire ACC.
Yeah, I mean, Tech's definitely got the better offense. This is a Clemson team that yesterday one of our good friends texted me, hey, I like NC State. I said, I could kind of see where you would like NC State. This line looks a little trappy. Clemson handled business. I don't think they're going to probably handle business again today. I lean Tech. Will not be getting involved, Megan, but I really like this Virginia Tech offense, what they're able to do. They remind me of their sister from the same state. There's something about Virginia schools, man. They just love to play that slow, methodical basketball. Makes it fun to watch. Does not always make it fun to lay points with, though. So Keep an eye on that one. But lean Tech will not be getting involved.
All right, leans Tech. And after that, we head on over to the Big Ten. First up, you have Nebraska, Northwestern. Northwestern is the 4.5-point favorite. Another game that I did not get involved in. If you remember Monday, I decided that I wanted to light a little bit of my money on fire and put a future on Nebraska. Didn't have the balls to actually put that out. So if you watched Money Shots, you can fuck with me for it. If it loses, whatever. But if you didn't, it's not out there and you don't know it exists. So obviously with Nebraska being as hot as they've been, my initial lean is Nebraska plus the 4.5. And if I think they have a chance to win this tournament, I probably should lean that way. But I will not be getting involved here. Kel, what do you think?
This is tough because I know why you like Nebraska, right? They were kind of out there making moves later on in the season. But this one kind of scares me. If you look at the two games, that they played so far this season. Northwestern pretty much beat up Nebraska fairly easily. There was one point, if I remember the game correctly, Northwestern was up 35 on Nebraska. Now, that wasn't the final score, but they do have the ability to run on this Cornhuskers defense. I think the problem is that I can't trust Nebraska to keep it rolling. Maybe it was a little fluky because their defensive efficiency is just so bad, right? And I don't know if when I'm looking at all these numbers going, okay, do I really trust them? Yes, sure, they beat up on an okay Penn State team. Yes, they beat the Buckeyes in Columbus. Yes, they beat Wisconsin in Madison. Those were very impressive things. But I do just kind of have to wonder if maybe those teams are caught looking ahead here because this is just not a good Nebraska team, like whatsoever. I have nothing great to say about them other than they kind of shocked the world. Maybe it's too many points again here. I just don't trust them. I lean towards the Wildcats just basically because of recent form. And I don't have a lot of backing behind that other than what I just told you, but lean that way. There's not a lot of games I like today, Megan. I told this to Jack yesterday. I go, right now it's just kind of slim picking for some of these dogs, and I'm not loving the board. I'm not seeing it well.
You got to make it love you. You got to. And on that note, we're moving on to a team that you've been riding a lot this year. And then the moment that I hopped on the train, they shit the bed. That's Minnesota at Penn State. And I find this line a little fishy, but I fucking played it anyway, which I got Penn State minus a 3.5, and now it's down to 3. One of the only games that has moved the way I didn't want it to. But look, this Gopher team has lost 6 out of the last 7, the last 9 away, meaning – can they play on a neutral site? I didn't know. Meanwhile, this Penn State team, they're not the greatest offensive team, but they can play some great defense. Minnesota can't get defensive boards. Penn State should be having a lot of second opportunities here. I've played Penn State minus a 3.5. If the fucking Gophers get lucky again, I might again throw my phone through a TV. It's already got multiple cracks. I can get more. I don't. It doesn't matter responsibly, but I just don't see this Minnesota team being able to pull this one out. I like Penn State here, and I feel like it's at a low price, but again, feels trappy.
Megan, you know what the problem is with Minnesota is they're very similar to Alabama. If they are hitting their threes, that's the time we love this team. And when they are not, that is when you hate this team. I don't think they're going to be hitting their threes against this Penn State team, who is not great at three-point defense by any means. I just think that this is a Minnesota team that's just kind of fallen off that proverbial cliff. They had that opportunity, if you remember, to beat the Badgers a couple of weeks ago. And I feel like they've lost that game basically 3 times after that. Ugly performance at Indiana, or at home to Indiana, and then 2 last road games. Got beat up by Maryland and Northwestern. I can see where you think this is a trappy game, but I don't want any part of this Gophers team. It's time to pack it up, head on to next year. I'm going to pass on this one, but yeah, I'm with you. This looks very, very trappy.
Right? I saw it this morning, and as soon as I saw it, I hammered it. Not hammered it. Not hammer like Rico. I'm saying I placed a bet.
Oh yeah, does Rico own the rights to calling things the hammer now?
I don't think so, but don't give him any ideas. Okay. I'm sure he'll go and try to get that done right away, which respectively so. You should put it on a shirt. All right, up next, let's head to your side of the country, which is the Big 12. I saw you mention that you tweeted something about the sister school, West Virginia, to who was it, Big F? West Virginia and K-State. How dare you go against your K-States? What are y'all, Wildcats? Yeah. Well, if you're going to be a cat, might as well be a wild one. I didn't even look at this game. West Virginia, I've been on the wrong side the last 2 times that I bet against them. My initial lean was K-State here. But I want you to explain to me why I was wrong and why you're happy I didn't take it.
Yeah, look, I don't necessarily know that you're wrong, Megan, but I can tell you this right now. The last 30 times K-State's been a favorite, they don't cover games. That's my biggest problem with this team. They just don't. Nine times they've covered out of 30 as their last as a favorite, and I'm so frustrated with this team. I don't think that they're going to extend Bruce Weber's contract. By all means, they should not. That being said, we all know this has not been a great year for Bob Huggins, right? And I'm sure he's rather frustrated with his team's performance as well, especially because when they go ice cold, they go ice cold. They're bottom of the barrel field goal percentage at a couple of times this year, but they don't turn the ball over. And this is a K-State team that's not that disciplined. I think this is going to be a knockout, drag-out fight. But when it was +2 yesterday, I did take West Virginia. Don't worry, I will tweet it out, the current number of +1. I think West Virginia wins this game, Megan. And that's just more or less of a play against my Wildcats. I think that there's a little bit built in the line because the game is in Kansas City, but it's a Wednesday, and it's 80 degrees in Kansas today. I don't know how many people are just going to not go to work and go to Kansas City to watch this game with a K-State team that's not any good. So I'm with you, or I'm with Big Ev, I should say. We're on West Virginia today.
All right. With that, Kelly and Ev are on West Virginia. That seems kind of like a good bet if Big Ev and Kelly are. I mean, Ev has been hot. He's been hotter than hot.
Ev has been very hot.
He has definitely been pumping out winners. So hopefully y'all have been following Ev and cashing those tickets with him as well. All right, on to what I think might be the best conference of the day, the Big East. You have starting off with Butler, Xavier. I got Xavier minus the 5.5. It's now at 6.5 at the Barstool Sportsbook. So one that I've get a trophy on, but man, am I kind of scared of this game. Xavier, as we know, has been on a little bit of a skid here. Butler can always be a pain in the side. But man, Xavier's efficiency, 40th most efficient offense in the country and 51st most efficient defense in the country. I mean, they are fantastic on both sides of the ball. Butler, again, can be a pain in the side. This seems like it might be a few too many points for, as I said, a Xavier team that has been on a skid. But I think this is where they correct the course and they get back to playing some good, solid basketball. At least I hope so, because 5.5 is a relatively large number against this super scrappy Butler team.
Yeah, Megan, let's just hope it lands 6. I'm going to take the 6.5 with Butler. And I know that the narrative is going to be, didn't Xavier lose in overtime last year to Butler in the Big East tournament? Well, of course they did. And of course that people are going to talk about that motivation and try to capitalize on it. But in fact, these two teams are very, very similar on paper, right? And while, yes, I got to give the head nod to Xavier, they are the better team here. They aren't the better team against the spread. They have not been great. Last 7 games, only covered 1 game. Also have that really slow tempo Butler has a really slow tempo that I think is going to be able to slow down some of that Xavier offense, if you remember. And it's, of course, his name escapes me at the moment, but he banged down like 7 threes against Georgetown the other day. And look, Butler isn't Georgetown. Georgetown's the worst team in the Big East. We know this. We've talked about them several times. But I think this is just a few too many points for a really scrappy Butler squad that if they can control the pace, they should be able to keep it within the 6. Let's just hope. Like, the game lands 6, Megan. Everybody's happy. I don't need Butler to win this one outright. I just need them to cover.
That's why I said I like my first thought of this game is like this one. I feel like this one could blow up in my face. Either I feel like it's going to blow up in my face, or Xavier's going to just like play lights out. I don't think that there's going to be.
And look, they played lights out the previous week. I'm not saying that they couldn't do that again, but I do think that Butler's going to give them a knockout, drag-out fight.
I don't see why they wouldn't. And Butler, as I said, is a fucking thorn in my side. And probably will be in Xavier's tonight too, but hopefully Xavier can pull away. All right, up next in the Big East, we have DePaul not at St. John's, but DePaul St. John's, and is this one MSG or is that that's Seton Hall, right? Or is this one there too? Is everything there? I'm confused now. My brain's all mixed up. Okay, regardless, I took St. John's minus the 4.5. It's been jumping around on the Barstool Sportsbook. I believe it got to like 5.5, back down to 5, then back down to 4. Line's just been all over the place. And this is another one, kind of like Butler, where I feel like DePaul could be a thorn in my side. I really do like this St. John's team. DePaul historically hasn't played well on neutral sites. I mean, I just feel like I don't have the number in front of me, but I know that St. John's, off of a loss against the spread, is extremely good. And they are off of a loss to, I believe, Marquette. Is that who they just lost to? But I like St. John's here minus the 4.5. Obviously, I'm worried about DePaul. They are a sneaky good squad. Just kind of like, as I said, like Butler, a pain in my side, and one where I feel like I'm going to have to hold my breath a couple of times in this game. But hopefully, St. John's, being the better offense, can squeak it out at the end and get me the cover at 4.5.
Megan, I think the St. John's team is really fun to watch, right? Like they just push the pace. They're kind of like
there's going to be a bazillion shots taken in this game. A bazillion.
Oh, yeah. Oh my God, this is going to be a track meet from hell, right? And that's where I see it going. Now, we all know I've been kind of on this roller coaster ride with DePaul, but overall, they've been really good for me. And I've almost considered betting them today. I have not. They're on my long list still. I have not gotten to the window yet. But I do think now that David Jones and Javon Freeman, Liberty, are healthy, we will see how this is going to play out. I want to keep an eye, kind of get a couple more ducks in a row, if you will. But I don't think that St. John's is going to be able to get separation from DePaul. I think DePaul is a team that can push this pace as well. I think it's going to be a really good game. This is going to be one of those, like, I feel like it could be like a classic Big East tournament team that we see, I don't know, maybe every couple of years we see one of those really fun games. We'll see how it plays out. But DePaul's on my long list. I have not got to the window yet. St. John's has been an absolute moneymaker this year, and they've been really fun to watch and bet on. But I would not be surprised to see DePaul give them a run for that money.
I wouldn't be surprised either, but hopefully St. John's they're the more efficient team. Hopefully they will show that offensive efficiency and get the job done for me and cover. As I said, my card is full of chalk today, so I'm hoping that things go the right way. Last Big East game today. I do not have a side here. As we both agreed that Seton Hall could take this tournament. Seton Hall, Georgetown. It was at 10 last time I looked. Seton Hall is now laying 9.5. I feel like this is a lay it or don't play it. I mean, Georgetown could sneak in there. I mean, it was Georgetown last year that went on that sneaky run, right? And went to like the Sweet 16. Where did they get further than that? Did Georgetown get all the way to the Elite Eight?
I don't believe so. Last year is so far away, Megan. It feels like 3 years ago.
I know. It feels like 4 years ago. I agree. But yeah, I can't get behind this Georgetown team. I would say Seton Hall, lay it or don't play it. What do you think here, Kel?
Yeah, I don't want to get behind this Georgetown team either. Sure, they could try to get a win over a Big East team today, which we know they have not done. In fact, they haven't won since December 15th against Howard. This is not a good team. Patrick Ewing's got a lot of work to do with them. I will say this. They have started covering more recently. Remember, not only were they getting blown out, they also weren't covering there for like a good 8 or 9 game stretch. They kind of turned that around where they finally caught up to the bookmakers' expectations. I'm with you here. This is a lay it or don't play it. Seton Hall probably is looking ahead from this game, looking to see who they're going to be facing next. I could see that ending in an 8-9 point win, and that would suck really bad. So I'm going to stay away here, but definitely lean towards Seton Hall in this one.
All right, last conference we will be chatting today. I do not have a play-in because I don't like any of these games, but it's the SEC. Up first, you have Ole Miss, Missouri. I would go ahead and lean Missouri plus the 3.5. I mean, I don't think I can back Ole Miss right now. I feel like they haven't been playing well. It's just not a team that I like. I don't think I've taken Ole Miss. Maybe I've taken them once or twice. I mean, the basketball season is ridiculously long, so maybe I have, but I don't feel like I've spent much money playing this Ole Miss team, and I don't think I've bet Missouri either. But it just seems like a gross game. As I said on Monday, I feel like the SEC is definitely going to cannibalize itself. Like I said, lean Missouri, but I'm not loving it. What do you think, Kelly?
Yeah, I'm not going to touch this game. And you mentioned Mizzou. I think I only played them once, and I think I took like the +9
I got screwed.
Trying to think of versus who. Maybe it was the last time they played Mississippi. I'm trying to think. I have to look it up. Either way, I haven't watched.
You said Mississippi. You're like Mississippi.
I think so.
Like, yeah, it was cute. It was very sounded like the Kansas was coming out.
Oh, the Kansas. Yeah, look, both of these bottom feeder teams. Neither of them should get an advance. I'm with you here. Always taking the points with a terrible team seems like a good idea in my brain, which means right now it's bad because, as I've said, this has been a really chalky year, and you should just be laying these points with the better team, and you'll be cashing tickets because clearly what I'm doing is not working, at least hasn't been for like about the last week since I got back. I should just stay on vacation indefinitely.
Speaking of two more bottom feeder teams, well, I guess Vandy's not necessarily bottom feeder, but I'm so tired of Georgia just being able to be allowed to play basketball. Just go home. I'm done.
Just go home.
We don't need to watch this game. This is a later. Don't play it for me, and then watch Georgia loses by 3 because they're weirdly sneaky in some spots because everyone's underestimating them and thinks the same thing that I do. Just go home. You suck. This is gross. Are you on Georgia, Kelly?
No, but I feel really bad for Tom Crean. Like, Megan, this Marquette love of mine started like way back in the late 2000s, right? And he was so good with this Marquette team. And then he gets a better job and he does okay with Indiana. Now he gets a worse job. And Georgia is just so bad. They are so bad. Every once in a while, they'll show a glimmer of hope, like, oh, okay, maybe you guys are going to play like, a Power 5 school. I just don't see it here. I made the game 10, so I'm not going to touch it one way or another. But come on, Georgia is not only getting blown out, they're also not covering games. On the flip side, Vandy is covering games, but I think this one's kind of built in the line that everybody knows how bad this Georgia team really is. They're horrific on defense. They are even worse on the boards.
In the comment, UGA players just want it to be over. So
yeah, they can't defend the 3 ball. I think this is just going to be a really ugly game. And you're right. Georgia should probably have to play Mizzou. I think that would have been funnier.
Yeah, it would have been way better. I would have definitely not watched it. That's just awful basketball. But as far as that goes,
Steve said that Tom Crean did get fired. I must have missed that. Like I said,
are you not keeping up with Georgia basketball this year, Kelly?
Well, Megan, in all fairness, 90% of the people I follow on Twitter are to get good information to see, who's getting picked up in free agency, who's getting fired, trade deadlines, that kind of stuff is like you want to be on top of it. And I must have missed it. But I was literally thinking in the back of my mind, I'm like, man, he's not going to get to keep his job much longer. And I just felt really bad because that Marquette team made me so much money.
Yeah. Okay, so I already gave out, I gave out in the beginning of the show if you saw it, and I gave it out this morning. It's already in play. I gave out Nevada minus the 5.
Ooh, I like that one.
They're down by 1 at the moment. They're playing already. And then I also
give me some in-game.
Have St. Peter's. I believe I got them minus the 4.5. And I want to say those are the only ones that we didn't talk about. Yeah. And as I said, I'm aware of Megan sounds like a rug. I do. I am a rug.
A rug?
I'm a magic fucking carpet.
A magic fucking carpet.
Yeah. So those are the rest of my plays today. And also that's what you sound like whenever you smoke cigarettes, like 16 years old. I don't do that anymore, but that's, ruins your voice for life.
You know what's funny? I always get accused of being the one that did that. But this is just my voice. Actually, I went to the doctor when I was like 15 and she's like, oh, your daughter's smoking cigarettes. Mine was like, I can promise you she's not, but okay.
See, my parents has a magic carpet. Maybe I have that too. All right, Kelly, you have anything else you want to pump out?
No, we're good. I will tweet out my final card here in the next 30 minutes. Everybody have a fabulous conference tournament, and let's see if we can't make some money between now and Saturday because woof.
Right. I need yesterday, as I said, I was writing the ship, but the last 2.5 weeks a little tough for you, girl, but we're gonna keep on keeping on. It's March. You gotta be prepared for the madness, baby. We'll see y'all on Saturday. Speaking of which, pre-tip with the money shots, girls. Have a great week.